The emergency alarm echoed through the massive council chamber. Every seat filled within minutes as representatives from 43 different species gathered around the circular platform. Above them, a holographic display flickered to life, showing a star system on the outer rim of known space. Speaker Kelthara raised 3 of her 6 arms to silence the nervous chattering. Her compound eyes scanned the room as her translator clicked into universal language. "We have received a distress call. Priority level, absolute." The hologram zoomed in. A small green planet appeared, surrounded by hundreds of dark shapes. The shapes moved like living things, massive and hungry. They swarmed around the planet like insects around dying prey. "The Rilthani colony," Kelthara continued, 3 million souls. They report void reavers in their system. The swarm arrived 6 hours ago. They have begun consuming the outer moons." Fear spread through the chamber. Void reavers. Everyone knew the stories. Ancient creatures that ate everything in their path. Planets, ships, stations. Nothing stopped them. Species could only run and hope the reavers moved on to easier prey. "How long do they have?" asked the Matherian representative, his blue skin paling to almost white. "For cycles, maybe less." Kelthara's voice carried no emotion, but her antennae drooped. "The swarm is large. Over 200 individual reavers detected." Silence filled the chamber. "For cycles. Not enough time." "We must assemble a rescue fleet," said the Vornithian delegate, standing on her tentacles. "Evacuate who we can," agreed Kelthara said. "I call for immediate vote on fleet deployment." The calculations appeared on everyone's screen. Assembly time, 2 cycles. Transit time, 4 cycles. Total, 6 cycles. The Rilthani would be dead before help arrived. "This is unacceptable," the Vornithian delegate insisted. "We cannot abandon them." "Mathematics does not care about acceptance," replied the Matherian. "We cannot reach them in time. Even if we sent every ship now, they would arrive to find dust and reavers." More voices joined in. Some argued for trying anyway. Others spoke of resource management and acceptable losses. The debate grew heated. Minutes turned into an hour. Ambassador Hannah Park sat quietly in the human delegation seat. She was young for an ambassador, barely 40 years old. Her black hair was tied back simply. She wore a plain gray uniform with the Earth Federation symbol on the shoulder. Humans had joined the Galactic Council only 3 years ago. Most species still saw them as newcomers, who should stay quiet during important matters. Hannah listened to the debate with calm eyes. She watched the hologram, studying the reaver movements. Her hand moved to her communication device. "The vote is called," Kelthara announced. "All in favor of attempting rescue despite impossible timeline?" 8 arms raised. 8 species willing to try. All opposed? 35 arms raised. The mathematics had won. The motion fails. We will send warning beacons to surrounding systems. We will remember the Rilthani. This session is Speaker Kelthara. Hannah's voice cut through the chamber. She stood slowly. "May I speak?" Kelthara's antennae twitched in annoyance. "Ambassador Park. This matter is concluded. There is nothing. Humanity has a fleet in that sector," Hannah said calmly. The chamber went silent. Every eye, compound or otherwise, turned to the human. "Possible," the Matherian said. "Your species has only basic patrol craft. We have seen your military reports. Small ships. Outdated weapons. You could not possibly. We have 47 warships currently conducting exercises near the Hellion Nebula." Hannah continued as if he had not spoken. "They are 2 cycles from the Rilthani system. They can arrive in time." Laughter rippled through some delegations. The Matherian's translator conveyed what sounded like a snort. 47 ships. Against 200 void reavers? Even if you could reach them, you would only be adding human corpses to the Rilthani dead. "Your concern is noted," Hannah said without emotion. She touched her communication device again. "Admiral Kim, you are receiving the tactical data." A voice replied through the chamber speakers. Deep and measured. "Confirmed, Ambassador Park. Data received and analyzed." You are cleared for unrestricted engagement, Admiral. Show them what we are. Understood. Valkyrie Squadron is moving to intercept. We will resolve this situation. Kim out. The connection ended. The chamber erupted in chaos. Species shouted over each other. Some demanded Hannah recall her fleet. Others called it a suicide mission. A few simply stared in confusion. Kelthara raised all 6 arms. Silence. Ambassador Park, your species is barely established in council space. You cannot possibly understand what you face. Void Reavers have destroyed civilizations millions of years older than yours. They are death itself given form. I must insist you recall your fleet immediately. Hannah met the speaker's compound eyes without fear. With respect, speaker, the answer is no. 3 million lives hang in the balance. We will not abandon them because mathematics says it is logical. This is foolishness, the Metherian delegate hissed. Your primitive weapons will not even scratch Reaver bioarmor. You will die for nothing, baby, Hannah said quietly. She sat down and folded her hands. Or maybe you do not understand what humans are. What we were before we became civilized. What we still carry inside us. And what is that? Kelthara asked, genuine curiosity mixing with her concern. Hannah smiled. It was not a comfortable smile. It reminded the chamber of something ancient. Something that hunted in the dark. We are predators, speaker. We spent 10,000 years learning how to kill each other better. We built weapons that could end our own world. We created artificial intelligence just to calculate more efficient ways to wage war. And when we finally decided to stop fighting ourselves, we did not forget those lessons. We took everything we learned from killing each other and pointed it outward, toward threats like the one consuming the real Thani right now. She stood again, her voice carrying through the now silent chamber. You are herbivores who learn to think. We are predators who learn to stop. But we did not forget how to hunt. And when we answer a distress call, we do not come as diplomats or merchants or scientists. We come as what we have always been. The thing that scared away the monsters in the night, the hologram updated. New signatures appeared on the display. Moving fast, it's very fast. Heading toward the Rilthoni system. The human fleet had begun its hunt. Admiral Doyon Kim stood on the bridge of the Indomitable, his eyes fixed on the tactical display. The massive carrier hummed with power around him. Behind him, 46 other warships held formation, moving through space like a pack of wolves closing in on prey. Time to destination? He asked. 1 cycle and 17 hours at current speed, replied Captain Nari Choi from her station. She was his second in command, a woman who had earned her rank through 20 years of service. We are pushing the engines hard, Admiral. Any faster, and we risk burnout. Maintain speed. The Rilthani do not have time for caution. Doyen pulled up the detailed scans of the Void Reaver swarm. 237 distinct signatures. Each one the size of a frigate. Some even larger. The Council species had faced these things before and always ran. Always, the Reavers consumed everything. Their bioarmor was nearly indestructible. Their psionic attacks paralyzed prey with overwhelming fear. They were the perfect hunters, but Doyon smiled as he studied them. Perfect hunters, just like his ancestors had been, once upon a time. All ship commanders, this is Admiral Kim. He spoke into the fleet-wide channel. I want status reports within the hour. Weapons, shields, engines, everything at 100%, or I want to know why. Sir, said Lieutenant Unisong from the weapons station, permission to speak freely? Granted. The Council thinks we are going to die. Are we? Doyon turned to look at her. She was young, maybe 20. Her hands were steady on the controls, despite the fear in her eyes. Good. Fear kept you alert. It was panic that killed. Lieutenant, do you know why humans conquered Earth? He asked. She blinked at the question, sir. We were not the strongest species on our planet. Not the fastest. We did not have claws or armor or venom. But we had something else. We could chase prey for days. We could work in groups. We could make weapons. And most importantly, We could think while we were afraid. Every other predator on Earth ran from what scared them. We ran toward it. We studied it. We figured out how to kill it. That is what made us apex predators. He gestured to the tactical display. These Void Reavers scare the Council because they have never faced a real predator before. They see these things and only think about running. But we see them and start calculating. Weak points, patterns, how to kill them? Can we kill them, sir? Yuna asked. We are about to find out. Doyan turned back to the display. Dr. Bay, what have you learned about their biology? Dr. Suji Bay appeared on a secondary screen. She was in the research lab, surrounded by data streams. Admiral, the Reavers use a form of psionic projection. They broadcast fear directly into the minds of their targets. It paralyzes most species. Shuts down higher reasoning. Makes them easy prey. Most species, Doyen repeated. But not humans? Human brains are different, Suji explained, pushing her glasses up. We evolved with fear as a trigger, not a shutdown. When we are scared, our bodies flood with adrenaline. Our reflexes speed up. Our strength increases. We become more dangerous, not less. The Reaver fear waves might actually make us fight harder. Excellent. Send that information to all ships. Make sure every crew member knows this. Doyen felt the predator inside him wake fully. They want to use fear as a weapon? Let them try. In the Galactic Council chamber, emergency monitors showed the human fleet's progress. Species from across known space had gathered to watch. Some came out of morbid curiosity. Others hoped to learn something from humanity's final moments. They are still approaching, Kelthera said quietly. I truly hoped they would reconsider. It is too late now, the Matherian delegate replied. They will be in scanner range of the Reavers within hours. Once the swarm detects them, they will attack. The humans will learn why we fear these creatures. On the Indomitable, alarms began to sound. Contact, shouted the sensor officer. Reaver swarm detected. Distance, 3 million kilometers enclosing. They have seen us? All ships, battle formation, Doyen ordered calmly. Carrier group to center. Cruisers form outer shell. Destroyers and frigates break into pack formations. Commander Lee, launch all fighters. Commander Wujin Lee sat in the hangar bay, already strapped into his fighter. Around him, 200 other pilots prepared for launch. His hands moved over the controls automatically. He had trained for this his entire adult life. Every human pilot had. Valkyrie Squadron, this is your commander, Wujin said over the squadron channel. Remember, you're training. Reavers are big and scary, but they are also slow. Use your speed. Hit and run. Target the joints where their armor is weakest. And most importantly, trust your pack. We do not fight alone. The hangar doors opened. Space beckoned beyond. 200 fighters launched in perfect formation, spreading out like a net around the main fleet. Back in the council chamber, the monitors updated with new data. The watching species went quiet as they processed what they were seeing. How many fighters did they launch? Someone asked. 234, another replied. That is more fighters than most species have total ships. Look at their energy signatures, the Matherian said, his voice uncertain now. Those are not outdated weapons. Those are military-grade plasma cannons, Kelthara finished. Railguns. Kinetic missiles. And that carrier. By the ancestors, its main weapon is a mass accelerator. They built a gun that can shoot asteroids. Why would any species build such things? Someone asked, what kind of civilization creates weapons like this? Ambassador Hannah Park stood in the observer section. She did not answer the question. She simply watched the display with calm eyes. The first Reaver broke from the swarm. It moved toward the human fleet, its massive body twisting through space. Its psionic scream blasted outward, a wave of pure terror designed to freeze its prey. On every human ship, crew members felt the fear hit them. It pressed against their minds like a physical weight. Terror, horror, the instinct to flee. And then, just as Dr. Suji predicted, something else kicked in. Adrenaline flooded their systems. Hearts beat faster. Muscles tensed. The fear did not go away, but it transformed. It became focus. It became rage. On the bridge of the Indomitable, Doyon felt his lip curl into a snarl. All ships, engage at will. Show them what happens when they hunt humans. The human fleet did not scatter, did not retreat. Instead, every ship accelerated forward, toward the Reavers, toward the fear. The Void Reaver that had screamed its challenge suddenly found itself facing something it had never encountered before. Prey that did not run, prey that attacked. Plasma fire lit up the darkness. Railgun rounds crossed the distance at impossible speeds. Missiles streaked toward the Reaver like angry hornets. The creature's bioarmor, which had shrugged off Council weapons for centuries, cracked under the sustained fire. It writhed in confusion. This was wrong. Prey did not do this. Prey ran. Target destroyed, Una reported from weapons. First kill confirmed. Good, Doyon said. Now let us see how they react when the tables turn. All ships, advance. Fighters break their formation. Show them what it means to be hunted. In the council chamber, species watched in stunned silence as the human fleet tore into the Void Reaver swarm. The predators had met something more dangerous than themselves. They had met humans. The Void Reaver swarm reacted like a disturbed nest. 30 Reavers broke from their attack on the Rilthany planet and surged toward the human fleet. Their massive bodies twisted through space, bioarmor gleaming. They had consumed thousands of worlds. They had never been challenged, never been hurt. That was about to change. Split formation, Admiral Doyon commanded. Delta pattern. Make them chase us into the trap. The human fleet broke apart with practiced precision. Ships scattered in multiple directions, but not randomly. Each group had a purpose. Each movement was calculated. The Reavers followed the largest group, 30 creatures chasing 8 human cruisers. To the watching council, it looked like the humans were fleeing, running as they should. But Ambassador Hannah noticed something the others did not. The human ships were not running away. They were leading the Reavers somewhere. What are they doing? The Matharian delegate asked. They are separating their forces. That is suicide against pack hunters. Hannah smiled slightly. Humans are pack hunters too. We invented this tactic thousands of years ago. We called it a pincer movement. On the tactical display, the truth became clear. The cruisers had led the Reavers between 2 asteroid fields. And waiting in those fields, powered down and invisible, were 20 human destroyers. Now, Doyon said quietly, the destroyers powered up all at once. Their weapons locked onto the Reavers from both sides. The creatures found themselves caught in a crossfire. Railgun rounds tore through Reaver armor from point-blank range. Plasma beams burned through their flesh. Kinetic missiles hit with the force of small nuclear weapons. The Reavers screamed, their psionic wails of pain echoing across every mind within light years. But the humans did not stop, did not hesitate. They poured fire into the trapped creatures with cold efficiency. Targets neutralized, Captain Nari reported. 15 Reavers destroyed, 10 heavily damaged and retreating. Pursuit course, Doyon ordered. Do not let them regroup. Hit them while they are confused. Commander Wujin led his fighter squadron through the chaos. His hands moved across the controls like he was born in the cockpit. Around him, other pilots followed in perfect formation. They had trained together for years. They knew each other's moves without speaking. Ghost Leader, this is Ghost 3, a voice came through his cum. I have a big one trying to flank the Indomitable. See it. Ghost 3. All fighters, converge on my position. We are going to thread the needle. Wujin dove his fighter toward the massive Reaver. Its armor was thick, nearly impenetrable. But Dr. Suji had found the weak spots. Every creature, no matter how perfect, had them. The joints where armor plates met. The sensory organs. The propulsion systems. 20 fighters followed Wujin's lead. They flew in a tight formation, closer than any sane pilot should. They passed within meters of each other, their shields almost touching. And then, at the exact moment they all fired, 20 plasma beams converged on a single point. The joint where the Reaver's head connected to its body, the armor there was thinner, more flexible. It had to be, or the creature could not move. The combined fire burned through. The Reaver's head separated from its body. Both pieces tumbled through space, lifeless. Splash 1. Woojin reported. Go Squadron, reform, and find another target. We have plenty more to kill. On the Rilthani planet's surface, millions of civilians watched their sky fill with fire. They had resigned themselves to death, had prepared for the end. But now they saw something impossible. The monsters that had come to eat them were dying, and the species saving them fought with a ferocity that was almost as terrifying as the Reavers themselves. Captain Nari stood at her station on the Indomitable, coordinating the fleet movements. She had been in combat before, border skirmishes, pirate raids, but nothing like this. This was war on a scale most humans had never experienced. And yet, her crew performed flawlessly. Admiral, enemy formation is breaking, she reported. They are trying to scatter. Do not let them, Doyen replied. Group 3, cut off their escape route. Group 5, push them toward the gas giant. Let gravity do some of our work. Ensign Taiyang Han sat at his console on the destroyer Relentless, monitoring shield strength. He was young, just 2 years out of the academy. His hands shook slightly as explosions bloomed across his screens. This was his first real battle. Coming. The weapons officer shouted. Reaver, attack, run. The massive creature dove toward the Relentless, its maw opening. Inside that mouth were teeth that could tear through starship hulls. Bioacid, that dissolved metal, Taeyang, watched the Reaver approach. Watched death come for him. And something inside him, something ancient and human, refused to accept it. All power to forward shields, he said, his voice surprisingly steady. Divert from engines if you have to. We hold the line here. The Reaver hit their shields like a hammer. The ship shook. Alarms screamed. Power fluctuated. But the shields held. Turn fire, the captain ordered. Everything we have. At this range we cannot miss. Point blank, the Relentless unleashed its full arsenal directly into the Reaver's mouth. The creature had armor on the outside, but inside was soft flesh. The weapons tore through it like paper. The Reaver exploded. Pieces of it scattered across space. Some debris hit the Relentless, but the shields absorbed it. Taiyan realized he was breathing hard. His hands had stopped shaking. He had looked at death and survived. He felt something he had never felt before. Not exactly pride, more like ... completion. Like he had done what he was meant to do, in the council chamber. The Watchers had gone completely silent. The tactical display showed something that should have been impossible. The Void Reaver swarm was losing. The humans were not just defending themselves. They were winning. How? The Metherian finally asked. How are they doing this? Because they are not afraid to die, Kelthara said softly. Look at their casualty reports. 3 ships destroyed. Over 800 crew lost. And yet they do not retreat. Do not hesitate. They keep attacking as if death means nothing. Death means everything to humans, Hannah corrected quietly. That is why we fight so hard. We know life is short. We know we are fragile. So when we face a threat, we do not waste time with fear. We act. We fight. We accept that some of us will die so that others can live. It is the oldest human instinct. Protect the tribe even at the cost of yourself. On the bridge of the Indomitable, Admiral Doyon watched the battle reach its critical point. The Reavers were breaking. Their formation was destroyed. Their numbers cut in half. And for the first time in their existence, they were experiencing something new. They were experiencing fear. They are trying to flee the system, Nari reported. Orders, Admiral? Doyon thought for only a moment. His next words would define how the galaxy saw humanity forever. He could let them go. Could claim victory and save his remaining ships. Or he could do what his instincts demanded. All ships pursuit course, he said. We hunt them down. Every single one. No quarter. No survivors. We end this threat permanently. Sir, the council will protest, Nari warned. Let them. The Rilthani are safe. Now we make sure the Reavers never threaten anyone again. The human fleet turned as one and chased the fleeing Void Reavers into deep space. The predators had become the prey, and humans never left prey wounded. They finished what they started. That was what made them truly dangerous. The human fleet split into two groups. Half pursued the fleeing Void Reavers across 3 star systems. The other half moved into orbit around the Rilthani homeworld. In the council chamber, voices rose in protest. They must stop the pursuit, the Matharian delegate insisted. The threat has passed. The Reavers are fleeing. This is unnecessary violence. Ambassador Hannah stood at her observation post, hands clasped behind her back. The threat has not passed. Wounded predators return. They heal, they remember, and they come back stronger. My people learned that lesson when we hunted animals on Earth. If you wound a dangerous creature and let it escape, it will find you again, and it will be angry. But they are fleeing, Kelthara said. They are beaten. Why pursue them across multiple systems? Because that is what pack hunters do, Hannah replied simply. We do not chase prey for sport. We chase it because if we do not, it becomes tomorrow's threat. Admiral Kim will hunt every single Reaver in that swarm until none remain. That is not cruelty. That is survival. Admiral Doyon stood on the bridge of the Indomitable, watching his fleet chase the scattered Reavers. The creatures had split up, trying to confuse their hunters. It might have worked against the Council species. But humans had hunted prey that used the same tactic for thousands of years. Deploy tracker drones, he ordered. I want every Reaver tagged and monitored. Captain Nari, coordinate with Group Alpha. We will box them in system by system. No escape routes, acknowledged Admiral. Group Alpha reports they have cornered 15 Reavers in the Helion system, requesting permission to engage. Granted. Weapons free. Total elimination. Light years away, human warships cornered the fleeing Reavers against a dying star. The creatures tried to use the star's radiation to hide, but human sensors could track them through anything. The ships opened fire, driving the Reavers into the star's gravity well. One by one, the massive creatures fell into the burning plasma. Unable to escape the combined force of human weapons and stellar gravity, while half the fleet hunted. The other half began the rescue operation on the Rilthani homeworld. Commander Yemeno led the Marine detachment from the first dropship. His boots hit the ground with a heavy thud. Around him, 300 Marines in combat armor spread out in perfect formation. Above them, the sky still burned with debris from the battle. Command, this is Ground Team 1. Yemen spoke into his comm. We are on the surface. Beginning evacuation procedures. Copy that. Ground Team 1, came the reply from the Indomitable. Be advised, there are still some Reavers planetside. Small ones. They separated from the swarm to hunt civilians. Understood. We will handle it. Yemen turned to his troops. Listen up. Our mission is simple. Find civilians. Protect them. Get them to the evacuation zones. Any Reavers you encounter, you kill. Questions. No one spoke. They knew their jobs. The Marines moved into the ruined city. Buildings had collapsed. Streets were torn apart. And everywhere, Rilthani civilians huddled in fear, waiting for death. A small Rilthani child, no more than 5 years old by human standards, crouched in a destroyed building. Her parents had hidden her there before running to draw the Reaver away. She had been alone for hours, crying, scared, certain she would die. Then the wall exploded inward. The child screamed, expecting a monster. Instead, a human in armor stepped through. The Marine's helmet retracted, showing a face beneath. Yemen knelt down, making himself smaller. Less scary. Hello, little one, he said in careful Rilthani. The translator in his armor helped. My name is Yemen. I am here to help. Are you hurt? The child stared at him with wide eyes. She had seen the humans fighting in the sky, seen their violence, their ruthlessness. But now this warrior knelt before her with gentle eyes and extended his hand. "Come with me," Yemen said softly. "I will keep you safe. I promise." The child took his hand. Yemen lifted her carefully and placed her on his shoulder. "Hold on tight, okay? We are going for a ride." A roar echoed through the ruined streets. A reaver, smaller than the ones in space, but still dangerous, emerged from the rubble. It had stayed behind to feed on the civilians. "Easy prey, Yemen. Set the child down behind cover. Stay there. Do not move." He raised his rifle and advanced on the reaver. Alone, the creature sent out its psionic scream. Fear, terror, run. Yemen kept walking. His heartbeat increased. Adrenaline flooded his system. The fear became fuel. He raised his rifle and fired. The reaver charged. Yemen did not run. He stood his ground, pouring fire into the creature. His squad appeared from the ruins, adding their weapons to his. The reaver died 20 meters from where the child hid. Jae-min returned to the girl and picked her up again. "See, you are safe now. Let us find your parents." This scene repeated across the city. Across the planet, human Marines found millions of Rilthani civilians and led them to safety. When reavers appeared, the humans did not hesitate. They formed protective walls with their bodies and fought with the same brutal efficiency they had shown in space, in the evacuation zone. Dr. Minji Kwan worked in a field hospital. She had been operating for 36 hours straight, treating Rilthani injured by the Rever attack, treating human soldiers wounded in the fighting. She did not care which. They were all patients. All lives to save. A Rilthani elder was brought in, his leg crushed by debris. He looked at the human doctor with fear in his eyes. He had seen what humans could do, had watched them destroy the reavers without mercy. "Please," he whispered in his language. "Do not hurt me." Mingy stopped. She looked at him with tired eyes. Then she smiled gently. "I am a doctor. I do not hurt people. I fix them. Now hold still. This will sting, but you will be okay." She worked quickly, stabilizing his leg. Other doctors and nurses, human and Rilthani working together now, helped move him to recovery. The elder watched in confusion as the same species that had killed so efficiently now saved with equal dedication. Back in space, Admiral Doyen received reports from across 3 systems. "Status?" he asked. "Last group of reavers cornered in the Korova system," Nari reported. "They have taken shelter in an asteroid field." "Requesting orders." "Antimatter missiles," Doyen said without emotion. "Saturate the entire field. I want nothing larger than dust remaining." "Sir, that will destroy the asteroid field entirely. The local mining economy will recover," Doyen interrupted. "Lives lost to reavers do not." "Fire the missiles." Asteroids and the reavers hiding within them vanished in spheres of antimatter annihilation. Pure destruction. Absolute. "Rever signatures?" Doyen asked into the silence that followed. Scanning. "Negative, sir. No reaver life signs detected anywhere in known space. The swarm has been eliminated. Every single one." Doyen allowed himself a small nod. "All ships return to Rilthani space. Assist with evacuation. And someone get me casualty reports." The numbers came in. 3 human ships destroyed. 847 crew dead. 93 seriously wounded. But 3 million Rilthani civilians saved, and an entire reaver swarm wiped from existence. On the Rilthani homeworld, Yemen found the little girl's parents. The reunion brought tears to human and Rilthani eyes alike. The mother looked at Yemen with something between gratitude and fear. "Thank you," she said in broken universal language. "But why? Why risk your lives for us? We are strangers. We are not even the same species." Yemen looked at the child he had saved. "Because that is what we do. Humans are pack animals. And when you answered our call to join the council, you became part of our pack. We protect our own, always." In the council chamber, the observers watched the evacuation proceed with impossible efficiency. The same humans who had killed with such brutal precision now saved with equal dedication. "I do not understand them," the Metherian said quietly. "How can they be so violent and so compassionate at the same time?" Ambassador Hannah smiled sadly. "Because we remember what it was like to be prey. Before we became predators, we were hunted. We were killed. We learned that the only way to survive was to fight for each other, to protect the weak, to never abandon the pack. We became dangerous not because we love violence, but because we love each other, and we will do terrible things to protect those we love." The human fleet regrouped in Rilthoni space, their hunt complete. Not a single Void Reaver remained, and the galaxy would never look at humanity the same way again. 3 days after the battle, the Galactic Council convened an emergency session. Every species sent their representatives. Some came in person. Others appeared via hologram, but everyone came. What humanity had done could not be ignored. The chamber was more crowded than it had been in decades. In the center, a single empty chair waited. The human delegation had been summoned to answer for their actions. Ambassador Hannah Park entered the chamber alone. She walked calmly to the center platform, her gray uniform simple and clean. Behind her, the massive display showed statistics from the battle, numbers that seemed impossible. Speaker Kelthara stood, all 6 of her arms raised for attention. "This council is now in session. We gathered to discuss the matter of human military action in Rilithani space and the complete destruction of a Void Reaver swarm. Ambassador Park, you stand accused of excessive force, violation of engagement protocols, and the unauthorized destruction of an entire species." "Noted," Hannah said calmly. "How do you answer these charges?" "I answer that 3 million Rilthani are alive today who would otherwise be dead. I answer that a threat which has plagued this galaxy for centuries has been eliminated. I answer that humanity did what the Council could not." Angry voices rose from several delegations. The Metherian delegate stood. "You slaughtered them. Every single Reaver. You pursued them across 3 systems and hunted them to extinction. That is not defense. That is genocide." "Genocide implies we killed a sentient species," Hannah replied. "The Reavers were not sentient. They were biological weapons. Killing machines. They could not be reasoned with. Could not be negotiated with. They existed only to consume. Tell me, Delegate, how many worlds has your species lost to the Reavers?" The Metherian's skin darkened with shame. "For over the last 2 centuries, you chose to accept those losses rather than fight back. We did not have the capacity to fight them. No one does." "We did," Hannah said simply. "And we acted. If you wish to call that excessive force, then yes, we are guilty. We used everything we had. Every weapon. Every tactic. We fought without holding back. Because that is what the situation required. You lost over 800 crew members," another delegate said. "Was it worth it?" Hannah's calm expression cracked for just a moment. "Ask those 800 families. Ask them if their loved ones died for nothing. Or ask the 3 million Rilthani who are alive because of their sacrifice. Every one of those crew members knew the risks. They went anyway. That is what humans do." The chamber doors opened. Admiral Doyon Kim entered, still wearing his uniform. He had come directly from his ship. He walked to stand beside Hannah, his presence commanding attention without a word. "Admiral Kim," Kelthara said, "this council demands an explanation for your actions. Why did you pursue the Reavers beyond the Rilthani system? Why did you not cease combat when they fled?" Doyon looked around the chamber with eyes that had seen too much death. "I pursued them because fleeing is not surrender. The Reavers were not running away. They were regrouping, healing, planning their next attack. I have hunted enough predators to know the difference between retreat and repositioning." "Could not know that," the Metherian argued. "Could I not?" Doyon pulled up a tactical display. "Look at their flight patterns. They split into groups. Each group headed toward different inhabited systems. If we had let them go, they would have attacked separately. Smaller targets, less defended. We would have saved the Rilthani, only to condemn others to the same fate. I could not allow that." So you decided to exterminate them? Said a voice from the Vornithian delegation. Yes, Doyen said without hesitation. I made that choice. And I would make it again. The Reavers were not a species to preserve. They were a threat to eliminate. And humanity has learned that when you face a threat, you do not wound it and hope it goes away. You end it. Completely. That is how predators survive. Caltharis' antennae drooped. And that is what frightens us, Admiral. Your capacity for violence. Your willingness to use it. You speak of eliminating threats as if it is simple mathematics. It is simple mathematics, Doyen replied. 847 human lives versus 3 million. Rilthani plus the countless others the Reavers would have killed if left alive. The math is clear. We made the hard choice. The one you were not willing to make. Because we value all life, the Metharian said. So do we, Hannah interjected. That is why we fight. You see our weapons and our ships and think we are violent. But we built those things to protect life. Every gun, every warship, every soldier exists because we refuse to let the innocent die when we have the power to save them. An elder Rilthani delegate stood slowly. She was old, her scales faded with age. May I speak? Calthera nodded. Of course, Elder Karathi. I was on the surface when the humans arrived, the elder said, her voice carrying through the chamber. I watched the Reavers destroy our cities. I heard our people scream. I prepared to die with my family. And then the humans came. She looked directly at Hannah and Doyen. I saw their Marines fight. I watched them form walls with their bodies to protect our children. I saw them carry our wounded to safety even as they bled from their own injuries. And I realized something. She paused. They are not monsters. They are guardians. Guardians with teeth. Killed without mercy, someone protested. Yes, the elder agreed. They killed our enemies without mercy. And they saved us with equal dedication. I have lived for 200 years. I have seen many species, many philosophies, but I have never seen anyone fight the way humans fight. They do not fight for glory or conquest. They fight to protect. And if that means being brutal to threats, then I thank every ancestor that they are willing to be brutal. Calthera looked at the voting board. This council must now decide. Do we grant humanity full membership and military authority, or do we expel them for their actions? Before you vote, Hannah said, I want to be clear about something. Humanity did not ask to be predators. We did not choose to evolve as hunters. But we did, and we cannot change that. We spent 10,000 years learning to kill each other more efficiently. We built weapons that could end our world. We created wars that killed millions. And then, somehow, we learned to stop fighting ourselves. We turned our violence outward, toward threats, toward the things that hunt the innocent. Looked around the chamber. You can vote to expel us. You can fear us. But understand this. There are threats in this galaxy. Real threats. And you cannot negotiate with them, or understand them, or accept them. You can only fight them. And when the next threat comes, when the next monster appears at your door, you will need someone willing to fight it. You will need the predators. The vote began. Numbers appeared on the display. 4 against. Abstain, the Rilthani bloc voted for humanity. All 15 species that had been saved voted yes. The elder species, those who remembered centuries of conflict, mostly voted no. They feared what humanity represented. The younger species split. Some saw humanity's potential. Others saw only danger. The final count appeared. 23 for, 18 against. To abstain, humanity would remain in the council. But there was more. Calthara stood. The vote is decided. Humanity will retain their council membership. Furthermore, she paused, clearly uncomfortable with what came next. By majority vote, humanity is granted the title of Apex Guardian. They will be authorized to respond to military threats as they see fit. They will be given access to all distress signals. And they will be relied upon. When force is necessary, Hannah bowed slightly. We accept. Though I want to be clear about one thing, she looked around the chamber. You have just made us your guardians. your protectors. But understand what that means. When you call us, you are not calling diplomats. You are not calling scientists or explorers or traders. You are calling soldiers, warriors, the ones who scare away the monsters. And we will come, every time. But do not expect us to fight nicely. Do not expect us to show mercy to threats, because that is not what Guardians do. Guardians protect, and sometimes protection requires violence. Admiral Doyon stepped forward. I will add one more thing. We answered your distress call this time. We will answer the next one, and the one after that. But do not take us for granted. Every human who dies protecting Council worlds is someone's child, someone's parent, someone's friend. We are willing to pay that price. We have proven that. But remember the cost. Remember that we bleed, and honor that sacrifice. The session ended. Species filed out slowly, talking in quiet voices. Some with hope, some with fear, all with a new understanding of what humanity was. As Hannah and Doyon walked back to the human delegation area, Hannah spoke quietly. They will always fear us a little, you know. No, Doyon replied. Fear is not always bad. It keeps them honest. It makes them think twice before making stupid decisions. When the next threat comes, we will do what we always do. We will fight. We will protect. We will be the guardians with teeth. Far out on the galactic rim, the human fleet patrolled the darkness. Their sensors reached into the void. Their weapons stood ready. They were the watchers on the wall, the shepherds who bear teeth, and somewhere in the Council archives, a new entry appeared in the official records. It was titled simply, The Humans, and it ended with a quote from an unnamed species that had seen them fight.